First, we'd like to introduce ourselves. So my name is Ziva Shachar, and I'm an International Student Advisor and DSO at Berkeley Global.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Carroll. I'm a Program Coordinator here at Berkeley Global.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Smith. I'm a Program Specialist here at Berkeley Global.
Hi, I'm Lauren Magzana. I'm the International Student Advisor for the Global Program for Freshmen.
All right, so between the four of us, we have years of experience working with international students at U.S. colleges and universities, and we've been involved in developing this new program, the Global Program for Freshmen, here at Berkeley Global. And we're excited to talk to you today about how to prepare for your transition to a U.S. college or university. So first, we'd like to check in with you. How prepared do you feel for the transition to college or university this fall? We're going to be sharing a poll to check that you can respond to.
I don't know if you can see the results, but it's a mix of people feeling somewhat prepared and somewhat unprepared.
Okay, thanks, Lauren. I could not see the results, so thanks for sharing. Okay, so some are prepared, somewhat unprepared. That's great. That's totally normal to be nervous and not sure what's going to happen. So today we're going to give you some tips to help you feel more prepared for this transition for the fall. Today, in this next hour or so, we're going to be talking about what you can do to make the most of your college experience, even remotely. So we'll talk about how to succeed in the online or remote learning environment, and how to make friends and get involved in your campus environment, even from home. And finally, feel free to ask questions in the Q&A throughout the presentation, and we'll be happy to address those questions, and at the end as well.
Okay, guys, so beginning university is an exciting time. And though your independence might look slightly different this semester, succeeding in higher education does require responsibility and independence in your approach. It's really important to take ownership of your academic career. So we've put together a list of some tips that will help you be successful and make the most out of your college experience. Okay, first off, be prepared. College can be a maze of policies and people. Attending orientation and open advising sessions will give you a head start and help you prepare for the road ahead. Secondly, ask questions. College is a time for learning new information, new skills, and a new way of relating to our world. The best way to do that is by asking questions. Remember that more often than not, someone else has the exact same question as you, so please don't be afraid to ask. Next, build your community. Building up a community of support will not only give you a sense of belonging, but it will help you thrive both academically and personally. When getting involved in university activities, try to think outside your major as well. Building up a well-rounded network can help enhance your cultural understanding and sensitivity, and not to mention that the connections you build in college will be invaluable when you start your career. Next one, seek help. Often we view reaching out to someone who can help us as a sign of weakness. Whether you're struggling academically or personally, we want to emphasize that seeking help when you need it is a sign of strength and integrity, and definitely not an admission of failure. On the flip side, it's also important to help others. Whether it be through volunteering or just helping out a classmate, research shows that people who help others have an increased level of happiness and a deeper sense of purpose. Volunteering can also be a great way to continue building up your community of support. Keep an open mind. You will be exposed to so many new viewpoints during your college experience. We encourage you to keep an open mind and be respectful of others' opinions. Open-mindedness facilitates constructive conversations about sensitive issues and can prepare you for life after graduation. Fun fact, open-minded students are more likely to try new things and take potentially rewarding risks after graduation as well. And last but not least, don't panic. College can undoubtedly be overwhelming at times, but remember that you're not alone. On top of your professors, GSIs, classmates, and friends, each university has a variety of resources at your disposal. Take some time, get to know them, and most importantly, don't be afraid to use them.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah. So now we've talked a bit about how to take ownership of your experience and make the most of your experience in university. But what does that mean when courses will be remote for this fall? It's a completely new environment for staff, instructors, and for you, the students. So first, you should know that the ways to succeed academically have not changed. You may have to click a Zoom link to join your discussion class or your professor's office hours, but the skills needed are mostly the same. So let's hear some advice from US college students and graduates.
So we've talked all about college, making friends, time management, the works, but we still haven't talked about one of the most important parts, doing well in your classes and getting that degree. Maybe you're nervous about having the right papers or picking the right class or just staying on top of all that assigned reading. I didn't have it figured out freshman year, and you don't have to either. Spoiler alert, the most important part about passing a college class is showing up ready to learn. I'm Cece Allen from Now This, and you're watching A Student's Guide to Your First Year of College.
Just do the work. Do the work every day. Do a little bit of it every day. Don't take a whole day off. Don't take a whole weekend off. Just do a little bit every day. And that's how college is structured. And you do have time. You have time for all of it. But you can't procrastinate. And you can make it.
Today we're talking about how to achieve academic success and build strong habits from day one. For some helpful tips, let's check back in with Hashim Pipkin, the Director of Communications at the Opportunity Network.
I think students in their freshman year should be mindful of their GPA, but it should never be a source of stress. And by that I mean that GPA is something that is going to be associated with them throughout college. It will be on their transcript, but it is not something worth kind of losing sleep over. Organization, kind of stepping back and organizing your week according to priorities for that week. It's okay to have an agenda. It's okay to have a binder, whatever the tool, the mechanism is to help you keep track of those assignments, those deadlines. Feel okay using that, even if it feels a little elementary. So thinking about what is most urgent to accomplish and then letting that reflect in how you plan out your week. I think also taking a moment to celebrate accomplishments. I think a lot of the time people really want to perform and do well because they feel the stakes are high, which they are, but there should always be a moment to step back and celebrate and acknowledge those wins, because I think you're better able to kind of perform and sustain achievement that way. We know that students are going to be more invested on topics and content that really resonate with them. So take a moment to really explore your curiosities around business, anthropology, whatever it may be. There's probably a course offered on your campus that allows you to kind of go deeper and explore that. So that's a good way to really maximize your chance of achieving well in that class. It is very important to show up to class. And by showing up, I don't mean literally just attending the class, but coming fully prepared to engage in discussion and ask the professor, your peers, really good questions to help drive the learning for everybody, right? So college is not high school in the sense that you're not there to turn in an assignment that day. There often are classes where an assignment isn't due for weeks on weeks on weeks. So it's really important that every class session you show up ready to go deeper in learning, even if it's not a paper you're turning in or actual quiz or exam you're taking that day. It's still an opportunity to gain new knowledge.
Tell me one of your biggest regrets freshman year.
I missed a class, and then it was like a pop quiz that was worth 5%, but it was extra credit. So everyone was getting there like, oh yeah, it was easy extra credit, so I don't need to. And it was like, why didn't I go? There was no reason for me not to go. And everyone was so excited because their grade went up 5% and mine didn't. Going to class is probably one of the biggest parts that affect your grade, and you can miss a lot of material that day. So really creating that consistency of just like, this is what I do. I get up, go to class. It will make sure for a better structure.
My biggest mistake was not taking it serious enough. I had an opportunity to excel. I had an opportunity to at least try to pass my classes, and I didn't take advantage of that, and I ended up failing my classes, but, it's about picking yourself back up, and I gave it a second shot years later, and I succeeded that time.
Only thing I can say is take it a day at a time, actually get to know yourself more, get to understand what it is that you like to do and that you love to do every day. and you'll figure it out. It'll come to you.
You have to learn how to study. You have to learn how to manage your time because you have lots of free time. You know, I wish that I had learned that it's okay to fail. Like, I am going to mess up, and people, when they go to school, they're going to mess up. They're going to fail a class, or they're going to get a bad grade, and like, that's okay.
I had this idea in my mind. I was going to be this athlete, and I was going to go to business school, and I was going to be, you know, I just had this plan. And the business school had a different idea for me because I couldn't pass the math classes. I think I failed one of the classes, took it over again and got a C, and then was having a really tough time in the follow-up class after that, and had to really consider changing majors, to which I did. And so that came with a little bit of an embarrassment at first. Fast forward to, you know, where I am now. Everything that I actually learned, I got a degree in communications, strategic communications, and I use that degree almost every day. And I'm glad that I transitioned, you know, into that school as opposed to the business school, because I found my purpose in that. It's funny how sometimes those failures end up pushing you right in the direction that you need to go.
I think for students who are coming in with high expectations about how they want to do academically, I say that's fantastic. And I say if the only thing you walk off your graduation stage with is with a high GPA and a degree, you have missed the whole point of higher education. Higher education is going to be about making sure you're doing well academically and setting yourself up. All that is true. Higher education is also going to be about your networks and your connections.
Academic success is just, it's a small part of it all. The people who are ultimately successful in life aren't the people who necessarily have the best grades or have all the degrees in the world. It's not just being good at academics, but are you well-rounded? You know, do you know how to tackle a project? Do you get up on time? You know, do you finish what you start? Are you trustworthy? I mean, let me tell you, I hire a lot of people, and the last thing I care about is where they went to school and what degree they got, right? That's probably important for your first job or getting into graduate programs, but when you're building your life, it's core values that are important, right? It's like, who are you as a person, you know? What are you contributing to the world?
Take it from Michelle, your GPA isn't what losing sleep over. So let's recap our tips. 1, organize. Whether it's a physical planner or a calendar reminder in your phone, it will help you keep track of all your classes and assignments. 2, priority check. Determine what takes precedence in your studies and plan your time accordingly. 3, recognize your wins. Take a minute or 2 and celebrate what you've accomplished. 4, explore new classes to help you find your passion. And 5, go to class and show up prepared for the lesson. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on A Student's Guide to Your First Year of College.
All right. So now we're going to talk a bit about what that means for remote courses. So as we saw from the previous video, it's very important to manage your time well in college. You will most likely have a lot more time than in secondary school, possibly with only a few hours of class time a day. But you will have a lot of reading to do outside of class, homework assignments, problem sets, group projects, studying for exams, all in addition to balancing social activities, exercise, sports, and other activities you want to get involved in. Calendars and planners are your friend. Remember to be realistic about your time commitments. Don't think you're going to write that paper from start to finish in 1 hour. In the remote environment, you will need to be proactive about reaching out to people. It may take a little more effort since you won't be able to walk into an office or casually chat with a student or professor in class. However, many offices will have Zoom drop-in advisors or easy ways to make appointments. Professors are eager for you to join their office hours and chat. School counseling centers and academic advisors are there to help when things get tough and you feel lost. Remember, no matter how alone you may feel, you are part of a huge network of students, staff, and faculty at your university, and there is always someone to reach out to for support. Next, just because you are remote doesn't mean you can't get involved in campus life. We'll talk more in a few minutes about how you can get involved. Something else that will be important is your technology. Make sure you have a good laptop or desktop computer to use and a strong, high-speed internet connection. Some pro tips. Plugging into your wall via Ethernet cable will always provide a stronger connection than Wi-Fi. Also, have backup devices like a mobile phone or a tablet ready in case your computer has connection issues. Since you will be studying from home and suddenly have a lot more time on your hands, making a routine for yourself will be important. This is very helpful in keeping you motivated and on top of your work, and also makes you feel more calm, happy, and prepared for your new life. Be sure to schedule time for meals, exercise, getting outside, and socializing. Finally, since now all of your courses and your life will be centered around your home and potentially your bedroom, it's important to design your study and class space intentionally. Create a clear space for courses and homework so you can separate school life from home life. Prepare the space in front of your computer so you're camera ready for classes. Have all of your school supplies, textbooks, and water within reach. This will help you make a great impression on your classmates and faculty in your first classes.
So I know that making friends is a big concern for most first-year college students. And I hope in this next section you will learn about new ways to meet people and build community. First, we want to start with a short video.
Up until now, you might have been going to school with the same people and have had the same friends since you were little. But college is all about the new. New faces, new places, new friends. It's exciting, but it's also quite stressful. You're gonna feel like the new kid in school because you are. But so is every other freshman there, and they're just as worried about finding their people as you. So today, we're gonna learn all about how you can find your squad. I'm Cece Allen from Now This, and you're watching A Student's Guide to Your First Year of College.
You can do this. You belong here. This was not a mistake. Let me tell you, these seats are coveted, and they do not give them away to anybody.
Today's episode is all about how to meet new people. So let's hear from Keith Byam. He's the program manager of career success at the Opportunity Network. We're gonna get the best tips on how to make lifelong friendships in college.
We're gonna do one of those things where we gotta get up again. Yeah, there was math. So 2 lines of 7, you should be facing each other. So 1 line here and the other line, and you should be facing. I would go to the gym at St. John's Taffner and play basketball. I would meet people through there. I would, just try to do as much as I can when playing basketball, but I would also use that as a great opportunity to, meet people and interact with them. And with that, just swap stories and, be myself, be humorous. Just that commonality of basketball allowed us to, keep talking about sports and then opening up about each other's lived experiences and where we're from and our backgrounds. Before day 1 is knowing who you are and almost writing that down, either writing that down in your mind or writing that down physically, but understanding and remembering who you are. So then on day 1, when you're saying, in my case, hi, my name is Keith, I didn't forget who I was, and I have that still at the forefront. So any other folks and people that I do interact with that are different than me, I still understand who I am, and I can welcome and invite their differences. So if you're looking on campus for Black Student Union, or maybe you're looking for the Asian community, it might be that you're looking for a group on campus. So it's important of knowing where you can find them amongst the campus landscape. In addition to that, it's really important of knowing what are some of the hobbies that you have and interests, what are some groups or places that you can find people in those places, and just saying, hello, I'm new to the campus, I'm new to the university and college, what's your name, and starting a conversation like that. There's already a commonality in the first couple days. You're either new or you're a returner, so that already sparks a conversation. Definitely, be able to just put yourself out there in different groups and clubs and events that happen in the earlier weeks. They're meant for you to be able to interact with people and create friends. Some folks, they don't necessarily think of that skill as something that's going to last them for a life. And it is a really helpful skill of knowing where you can meet people and where you can connect with folks that have the many different identities that you have. And the third thing I would say to that is knowing what they view as a squad or a community. Having that definition and that understanding of what that actually means to you, because it means different things to different people, is truly important. Understanding that for some of the spaces in which that they're in, that unfortunately it was not meant or built for them, but that they can still be great folks that are a part of that community and be a part of the differences and changes that are definitely needed. People will make these assumptions based on what we look like, maybe where we're from, some of the smaller minor bits that we share, but they don't have the entire scope, which is why you have to start doing a little digging and find out more things, find out more about all about them, to find out the languages that they speak, the interests that they have, maybe the places that they travel. Because if you just go by face value, you will find a lot of people that you may not quote unquote connect with. But you know why that's the case? You don't know about them yet.
There are friends that you can hang around with, and then there are friends that want to see you succeed and they want to see the best version of you. And so in order for that to happen, for me to get the best version of me, I had to get rid of those friends that didn't really want to see me succeed, that they weren't really there other than just to hang out and chill. They were more time wasters than they were beneficial for myself to grow.
A lot of these clubs actually have stuff to do with the schools and the majors here. So if you look at these clubs and really dive deep into them, you'll see what you're interested in.
My biggest challenge, like coming in, you kind of think like, where am I gonna fit in now? So like, it's kind of the same thing when you go into high school freshman year, you're like, oh, I'm gonna spend the, next 4 years here. So it's kind of like the same thing when you get to college. It's just everyone is grown up now and like about to get to business. So I think it's just like, oh, will I make friends? But like, I think what I did, I just like, you have to be open-minded when it comes to certain things. So you have to be open to meeting new people, open to going to events or like social activities that you're not used to going to. So I think, that was probably a problem. I was worried that I wasn't going to get friends or worried that, someone wouldn't like me. But, you're always going to have a spot. You're always going to have a spot somewhere.
I spent almost 10 years in foster care. I entered foster care at the age of 12 after I was orphaned by my parents. And I knew that building close relationships and choosing my family was really important to me. I didn't get to pick my family. No one gets to pick their family. But in college, you actually do. You don't have to be blood related to any of the people that you call your family. I'm only blood related to my siblings. The rest of my family is of my own design. And so once you figure out what your most important things are, then the balance starts to come. Then the balance comes with time.
I think it's very important for freshmen to find, peers that are going to help, because like anything, it's very hard to do something on your own. So you need support groups. You need people you can ask for advice. Even if it's something as simple as, where do I get my hair cut? Where do I go to relax? Where do I go get something to eat? But find a group of people that, can create spaces for you where you can relax, where you can take a load off, you can have fun, enjoy yourself, but also around people who are going to motivate you, who are going to hold you accountable. Because, if it's all on us, we fail as human beings. But when we have other people that are helping us along, it makes those tough tasks just a little bit more easier.
I had a squad in school who also is my squad to this day. Some of my best friends are people that I met in school. Some of my kids' godparents are people who I met in school. People who I stayed up late nights with, either hanging out or complaining about a course I was taking. But people who were with me through and through. People who saw me at my best, who saw me at my worst, and who make sure when they saw me at my worst, they try to get me to my best as quickly as possible. You're gonna have to have people who are in your corner. You're gonna have to have people who will fight and advocate for you, people who you're willing to be vulnerable with, people who are with you in good times and bad. And so you have to make sure that you find that team, find that group of folks who are your ride or dies. And because those are folks who also will be with you long after your college days are done as well.
Try not to put a timestamp on when and how you make friends in college, because everyone's journey is different. So let's go over some helpful tips to finding your people. Number 1, from day 1, never forget who you are. 2, look at campus communities that align with your interests. 3, establish what a squad looks like to you, because it looks different for everybody. Thanks for watching, and stick around for more of A Student's Guide to Your First Year of College.
It was was mentioned in the video that one way to find friends who share the same interests as you is to become involved in the campus community. This can mean that you join a student club or try out for an intramural sport, do a fitness class, or even get a job on campus. Always remember to be true to yourself. It's good to go out of your comfort zone to try new things, but you shouldn't join something that might compromise who you are. The first place you might want to start is joining a student group. Most colleges have websites that list all the student clubs and organizations so you can get an idea of what group does to foster the group's interests, what activities they host, and how you can join as a new member. There are groups that focus on professional development, academic majors, specific hobbies, musical talent, sports and recreation, and so much more. There is something for everyone. Sometimes colleges will host club recruitment fairs where new students can talk to current club members in person. While this won't be happening in person this fall semester, many colleges are trying to figure out ways to do this remotely. The same goes for playing an intramural sport. If you like to maintain a physically active lifestyle, joining a recreational sports team will help you make some fast friends. Depending on the sport you choose to join, the games and practices might be held in the recreational facilities on campus, where you might also be able to take fitness classes or use other gym equipment. Fitness classes like yoga and Zumba would also be other places where you can meet people who share your love of working out. These are likely to be more relaxed settings to get to know fellow fitness lovers when participating in competitive sports. Getting a job when you're in college will not only help you build personal and professional skills, but it will also help you meet new colleagues and coworkers. Some of the best lifelong friendships can be made while working in an on-campus job or doing volunteer work. Because you can spend several hours a week working or volunteering, you have the opportunity to really get to know the other people you work with. Some colleges may even offer opportunities to do group volunteer work locally or abroad, like an alternative spring break trip where you and a group of volunteers may build a house for families in need or support recovery efforts after a natural disaster. You could also look for ways to practice your language skills through a language exchange program. At UC Berkeley, for example, you can sign up for a conversation partner that is interested in practicing their language skills with you. With a mutual love of languages, together you and your partner could learn about each other's culture and family history while also honing your language skills. There are so many ways for you to meet new people and make friends on campus. These are just good places to start. But you will also meet friends through your classes, when you form study groups, in your dormitory, and in the campus dining halls. Let's see, so now that we've talked about where you can make new friends, let's talk about how you can start. One of the takeaways from the video is to not be afraid to introduce yourself and start conversations with new people. I know this is easier said than done, but one way to help give you the confidence you need to talk to fellow students is being prepared. What I mean is, think of some conversation starters or phrases to use when meeting someone for the first time. The key is to ask questions that require more than a yes or no answer, something that usually needs more explanation. I've listed some on this slide for you to get comfortable with, but when you first meet someone, I wouldn't just go down this list and ask them everything. The conversation should start from one of these questions, but hopefully you both can continue speaking more organically with one another. Also, consider generating your own list of 5 to 10 conversation starters that would be of genuine interest to you and will sound more natural when you bring them up. The more you use these questions, the more comfortable and confident you'll feel when you're in a setting to start a conversation with someone new. So for example, you can ask, what are you most excited for in college? What clubs are you thinking of joining? And especially if you already know what clubs you would like to join, it's a good way to start when you meet someone.
So now we're going to launch another poll. So now we've talked to you about how to succeed academically in college, how to adapt to this new remote environment, and some ways to get conversations started and make friends, and some places to go to try to make new friends in your first year of college. So after this workshop, how prepared do you feel for the transition to college or university? And we'll also ask, during this workshop, did you learn at least one thing that you think will help you in your transition to college? And this is an anonymous poll.
So it looks like everyone that responded is feeling somewhat prepared. And they also all said that they felt like they learned at least one thing that can be useful for them.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. And remember, this is just a 1-hour workshop. There's still so much more you can do to prepare, right? There's more videos you can watch, like what we just talked about. And there's more people to talk to. And I also want to mention that if you aren't sure if you can enroll in your school in the fall, or if you're admitted for a spring semester program, remember that fall semester doesn't have to be wasted if you can't go in person to your school. You can contact us at gpf@berkeley.edu about completing our global program for freshmen at UC Berkeley. You can enroll in your general education requirements and take them remotely while participating in workshops and activities like these, so you'll be ready to make the most of your time in the US come spring or whenever you're able to come in person. So I think that'll be it for us today. Thank you so much for joining, and best of luck starting college this fall.
Thank you for
Hi,
coming.
everyone. Thanks for coming.